Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Counselor Jones. Geisler.
Here.
Jelly.
Here.
LeBlanc.
Here.
Mayor Boucher.
Here. Announcements. Do any counselors have announcements this evening?
Not tonight for me.
I would like to congratulate the Mirage on their Section 7A championship and their trip to state. They left about a half an hour ago to head to St. Paul, and wish them the best of luck between now and Saturday afternoon. We have no public hearings. Oh, yes, we do. We have public comment period on revisions to the use of body worn camera policy. Mr. Mulder.
So we are revising the body worn camera policy. Statutes require that we have a public comment period. We've had it up on our website and we've advertised that. So now is the time for the citizens to comment on our revised body worn policy. We instituted this back in May of last year when first time we put had cops wear cameras. And so now we instituted a policy at that point in time. Now that we've had it for 8 months and we've seen how it worked, we've seen how the different changes, we've made some revisions for that to make it work better.
Thank you. Is there any public input on the city's changes in the revisions for the use of body worn cameras? If so, please state your name and address. Any public comments on the revisions to the use of body worn camera policy by the police department? And last opportunity for public comment on revisions to the use of body worn cameras. We will close the public comment period and move to communications, none of which have been highlighted this evening. We do have a presentation under item 7, proposed spongy moth treatment outreach. Joe, someone is online for that presentation.
Yeah, let me get Danielle DeVito set up here and she can share her screen.
Sounds good. Hello, Council. Thanks for having me. Sorry I was going to be there in person tonight, but I've been under the weather from a hockey tournament this past weekend. And good thing because the weather down here is not so great. So good luck to your team getting down south to the cities because it's crazy. We already canceled school the next 2 days. But anyways, let me share my screen here about our proposed spongy moth treatment. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We're waiting for the man behind the curtain to change things.
Sure.
There we are. We're getting it. There we are.
See my presentation or my face?
Your face.
Oh, I told it to share my screen.
Oh.
Let me click over to another one. Sorry, I don't typically use, how about now? I don't typically use Zoom. I'm more of a.
There we go. Now we have looks like a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, absolutely it is. So my name is Danielle and I am the treatment coordinator and regulatory coordinator for the Minnesota Department of Agriculture. I oversee a lot of our logging, our invasive pests, our firewood projects. And so I wanted to present to the council today a proposed spongy moth treatment for this coming year. I'm going to cover a couple items on this presentation here real quick. Some spongy moth background, our management, and oh, that did not get updated. I apologize. I have Carleton County on there, but Carleton and St. Louis County, they kind of are overlapping with their treatments. So that's my error. Let's start with spongy moth. This is a spongy moth. The female is the white one. The brown one is the male. The scientific name is Lomantria dispar. The reason we care about this pest is it is a tree defoliator that is federally regulated. And over the lifespan, each of when these are caterpillars, they can eat a cubic foot of leaves. Take a square box and one caterpillar can eat that many leaves. So that's one of the reasons we're so concerned about this pest. The egg masses, they multiply by the thousands. So each egg mass can have up to 1,000 caterpillars. And this is when they're just hatching out. I like to put in reference, they would be about the size, like if you were trimming your pinky fingernail, that's how small they are. And they get up to the size of like your pointer finger. So they grow up really fast and a lot. So they're eating a lot of leaves and cause a lot of defoliation. So other parts of the nuisance, not only are they stressing trees because they're eating the leaves off of them, is health concerns. So we have a picture of a deck and there's frass. So if you have a beautiful tree hanging over your deck and there's spongy moth in there, the caterpillars are feeding, well, they're going to produce a lot of frass, leaf debris, all over property values. There's some caterpillars right there. Lots of stress on trees year after year could cause death to trees. Also a nuisance. You look at the little garden gnome. When we have outbreaks and high populations, there's going to be caterpillars everywhere. And then also quarantines impacts industry as well. So those are some of our main concerns with this pest. The spongy moth is also regulated. It's by the federal level. If we look at this map, everything in the blue color is areas that are quarantined. And then we have that light green kind of along that western edge. That's our action area. So this project, when we work on spongy moth, is a federal thing. We work in cooperation with the U.S. Forest Service, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, each individual Department of Ag for all of these states. We work with DNR. It's this huge, big project that we all cooperatively work together. And so the action area is that green, like I said, area where we actively are trying to slow down the spread of this pest across the United States. One of the things that we use to find that is our early detection survey. You may have seen that little brown triangle picture. That is one of our detection traps. We place approximately 20,000 of them across Minnesota. If you could draw the border of Minnesota and draw a line north to south, that whole eastern half of Minnesota is trapped on a grid. So you may have seen these about every mile and a half or so as a grid that you would see these. There's a pheromone strip in there that only is going to attract the males. So those are set in your area about June. They're checked in the middle of the summer and then they're again removed about October. And we check these and count how many moths we catch across the state and that whole zone on that former map. The green one is our milk carton trap. Those are trapped in really high density area or high populations of the insect, not people. You might see those in Lake or Cook County with some higher numbers up in that area. Here is a quick grab of our trapping results from last year. On the left-hand side, you can see the map, the colors, the brighter they are, the more insects we caught. There's some light gray down in the central part of the state. Those would be areas that were trapped and we did not detect any moths in those. But you can really see Lake and Cook and St. Louis County and into Carlton County is some bright red dots. On the right-hand side, I kind of zoomed in. I have Carlton County and you can see St. Louis County. So last year in those 20,000 traps, we caught about 100,000 moths. We had a really high increase in St. Louis County, just shy of 20,000 moths that were caught in that area. So when all of these are caught, we start to evaluate specific areas and propose some projects and some outreach and some treatments for these areas. And some areas are going to be higher traps the following year as well. For this year, for 2023, the Department of Ag is proposing 4 different treatment blocks. You can see that we have Duluth East, Duluth West, Midway, and Holyoke. Duluth West is a treatment block that is over your city. So we have roughly 7,300 acres that are being proposed. I'm going to zoom in on that map too. Zoomed in a little bit farther and you see that. And then we're going to zoom in on each of those areas as well. This is the Duluth East block. It's all very urban, covers over the university in St. Scholastica. And then here's where you're probably curious as it goes over Hermantown. If we look at this, there is 8,800 parcels. Now that's not mailing addresses. That's how many parcels it is. And that's 7,300 acres. It has Duluth, Proctor, and Hermantown. So I've presented to like all groups that are interested, any of the foresters, as well as the county people. So you can see that map in that area of where we're proposing these treatments. And there's the other one that's quite a bit more rural. We're naming that Midway. So what you can do and see if you're in some of these proposed areas is the Department of Ag, we operate on an interactive map. You can go on to this webpage, punch in your address, and you'll know how far, how out, or if you are within one of these proposed areas as well. So that's on there. It'll zoom you right in. You can zoom out and move around as well. So with our slow the spread plan and this mating disruption treatment that I discussed, we're proposing here, it occurs with these aircrafts. There's a picture of one on there. That's an air tractor. There's one application. It's 26,000 acres is all of those 4 blocks. These applications occur during the daylight, and we're looking at mid-July right now. I can't propose an exact date as these treatments start all the way down in North Carolina, and they follow that map I showed of the United States all the way up. We also, they're very weather dependent and how the insect is developing. So if we have a cold spring, it's gonna be a little later. If we have a warm spring, there's a potential for earlier. So we really just put that mid-July timeframe on this. The product that we use it's proposed under is Splat GMO. This is a certified organic product. It's made with all food grade things. It's non-toxic. It has no non-target species either. And it's not something that actually kills an insect. It's a synthetic pheromone. So basically when we apply, it puts a scent over the area that smells like the female moss, in turn confuses the male moss. Because it's the end of their life cycle, then they will die from and before they can mate. So that really suppresses that population. So that's why we call that a mating disruption treatment. What we do to notify all the public and inform everybody that this is going to occur, in your packet, it's a 1 page, you can see postage in the top corner. That's the front and the back of our postcard. So we mail out an informational postcard to everybody that lives within these treatment areas. And those citizens might start getting those in the mailbox today. They were starting to be sent last week. So everyone's going to get that postcard that lives within those saying, hey, this is what we're proposing. This is a little bit about spongy moth, and then also invite the public to an informational meeting. This year we're doing 1 in-person meeting. It's going to be at in Duluth at the city council or the city hall on the 7th. And then also I'm going to host 2 virtual meetings, and I'm doing one at 10 a.m. and one at 6:30 p.m. So whatever works with people, try to give 2 time frames. So people have multiple ways to attend these informational meetings. Legal notice is going to go in the paper. Along with this, you probably should have received an email from me that in red you might have seen internal use. I work with all our hospitals, our law enforcement, and keep a really long email list. So I notify all local government units, all the steps along the way during this process. Something else for our citizens is there's email and text notifications. You can go right onto our webpage and put in your phone number or your email if you want text and say, hey, there's going to be a meeting. Hey, treatments are going to start on Monday. They started and then we're done. So you can get those kind of notifications. Department of Ag also has a report a pest hotline. And while we are during operations and doing those treatments, we actually have that staffed with a person. So if somebody calls that, they immediately get somebody to talk to as well. All of these projects are done with the Forest Service and USDA. We're currently doing a review and writing the environmental assessment. So these all fall under the EIS. So there is a public comment period once we put that draft out before that's signed. And so people do have time to comment on that. So with that, I quickly tried to run through it. They told me 10 minutes and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I did want to share all that information with you. And if I can figure out how to stop sharing my screen, does anyone have any questions for me?
Any questions from council? Danielle, thank you for your presentation and your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Danielle, give me the hostability back before you leave.
Oh, all right, let's see. Share screen, 1 participant. I apologize. I don't normally use this. How do we, maybe more?
Okay. On the little ellipse
Yeah.
that you'll see on either one of the city of Hermantown folks, you can kind of click in the upper right-hand corner,
Oh, I see it. Yep.
make host.
Oh, there we go. Right, are you the host?
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah,
Sure.
welcome. Thanks for your time. If you don't want to receive any more of those emails or anything, or you want to contact me, feel free to reach out.
Thank you. And Mr. Mulder, at our pre-agenda meeting, we had a preliminary fourth quarter financial presentation by the finance director. Do you have a short synopsis of that?
Sure, it just showed where each of the general fund budgets were at the year end, and as every quarter we show how much money we have in the bank and various investments, cash, things like that, how they're separated by funds, and then where they're being held and how they're being invested.
Thank you. And next is public discussion. Does anyone have anything they wish to discuss with the council? If so, please state your name and address. Is there anyone that wishes to discuss anything with the council, public input or questions, comments, or concerns? Last opportunity for general public discussion. We will close public discussion and move to motions. A motion to approve the following new massage licenses effective February 22nd, 2023 through December 31st, 2023. Contingent upon complete applications being received, successful background checks, and licenses paid in full. The Well, Todd Grandal, and the Well, Grace Leader. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Counselor Jelly. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Jones. Mr. Mulder.
As you recall, we licensed both the establishment, the Well, which we had previously approved, and then we also subsequently licensed every massage therapist. So these are two new ones that we have not previously licensed. So we're adding that to the list.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Hearing none, is there any public input on this motion? If anyone from the public wishes to address this motion, please state your name and address. And last opportunity for public input on this motion. Roll call, please.
Counselor Jones.
Aye.
Geisler,
Aye.
Jelly,
Aye.
LeBlanc,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher.
Aye. Consent agenda, which includes the minutes from the previous city council meeting and accounts payable. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Counselor LeBlanc, second by Counselor Geisler. Roll call, please.
Counselor Geisler,
Aye.
Jelly,
Aye.
LeBlanc,
Aye.
Jones. Aye. Mayor Boucher.
Aye. We have no ordinances this evening and resolutions. Resolution 2023-19, resolution approving modification to the city's use of body worn cameras policy. Do we have a motion?
I'll motion to approve. Seconded.
Motion by Counselor Geisler. Second by Counselor LeBlanc. Mr. Mulder.
As I said previously, we had a body worn camera policy take effect back in May when we deployed the body worn cameras for our police officers. And since then, we've made some changes to that. So that's the revised policy here.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Hearing none, is there any public input on this resolution? Is there any public input on resolution 2023-19? Is there any public input on the resolution approving modifications to the use of body worn cameras policy? Roll call, please.
Counselor Jelly,
Aye.
LeBlanc,
Aye.
Jones. Aye. Geisler,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher.
Aye. Resolution 2023-20, resolution approving modifications to the citizen complaint policy and procedures regarding officer misconduct for the Hermantown Police Department. Do we have a motion?
Make motion to approve.
Motion by Counselor Jelly. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
second by Counselor Geisler. Mr. Mulder.
So we've had the citizen complaint policy dating back to 2004. And so we've updated that to just how we accept complaints, the procedures for doing the investigation and getting back to the residents, and then just how we process those. So we're just updating that policy from almost 20 years ago.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments from council? Is there any public input on resolution 2023-20? Is there any public input on this resolution? Last opportunity for public input on the modifications to the citizen complaint policy for the Hermantown Police Department. Roll call, please.
Counselor LeBlanc,
Aye.
Jones. Aye. Geisler,
Aye.
Jelly,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher.
Aye. Resolution 2023-21. Resolution authorizing and directing mayor and city clerk to execute an acceptance of easement agreement to the city of Hermantown from Gordon S. Halverson. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Counselor LeBlanc, second by Counselor Jelly. Mr. Mulder.
These are two easements on either side of the current Lindahl Road Bridge, which we'll be removing this summer. And these easements allow for a turnaround at each, they'll become a dead end, but this allows for a place for automobiles and trucks to turn around on those dead ends.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Is there any public input on resolution 2023-21? Do we have any public input on the easement agreement acceptance between the city of Hermantown and Gordon Halverson? Is there any public input on this resolution? Roll call, please.
Counselor Jones. Aye. Geisler,
Aye.
Jelly,
Aye.
LeBlanc,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher.
Aye. Next, and probably the most important of the evening, is a motion to recess. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to recess.
Motion by Counselor Jelly. He's the hero. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Jones. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign.